Brother, welcome back to the channel. United have got Sheffield United visiting Old Trafford tomorrow night. And it promises to be an absolute right laugh, I guarantee it. It'll be flawless. There'll be no dramas. It'll be seamless from 0 to 90 minutes where United come away victorious, right? Just like it did on Sunday against Coventry. Exactly the same. No problems whatsoever. Don't know what all the fuss is about. We were mint, and there was nothing wrong with that performance at all. Sheffield United come having set a record for the most goals conceded at home in the Premier League season after they conceded a handful against Burnley, taking their total at home. This game's at Old Trafford, though, to 51. They are now without a win in 9 matches. Manchester United, record-breaking Reds. We can give them that win. We can. No, actually, I don't think we will. I think this should be a fairly straightforward victory for United, but there is a potential for a hiccup in a couple of areas with this as well because of various factors, and we'll get into that. Let's talk a little bit about how they play, because that's why you guys come here, I presume, is to learn a little bit about what the opposition are going to do. Now, you got Chris Wilder back in the hot seat at Sheffield United, and he loves the 3-5-2. Big fan of the overlapping centre-halves, which was popularised the last time that we saw him in the Premier League after the success of it in the Championship. And it's a little bit of an overreaction to what is essentially quite a simple thing. And we've been seeing centre-halves doing this for a long time. Gary Pallister used to do this. Paul McGrath used to do this. You've seen good centre-halves with the ability to do that. And particularly when someone plays in a 3, you're underloaded in midfield or in attack anyway. So if you've got 3 centre-halves on a pitch, they're not really over. They're not like bombing down the wing, really. You know, they're not like getting to the byline and coming in the like. It's a bit of an overreaction to what actually happens. They step into midfield and help support the attack, and they're there for a little bit of counter press higher up the pitch should they need to be, because they've got 2 centre halves in there behind them. But it works. Now, the overall goal doesn't change. What Chris Wilder is trying and is relatively effective at doing, it's not going to be a success for him this time around at Sheffield United. I hope he keeps his job and is given the opportunity to bring them back to the Premier League, because I think he's a good coach. I think he's a really, really good coach, actually. I like him a lot. But I think what he's doing is not revolutionary in terms of all he's trying to do is put extra players. He's trying to overload a certain area of the pitch. Now, the method that he chooses to do it is probably, if we're being honest with ourselves, more innovative. And I think De Zerbi's also been more innovative in the way he plays out than anything that we've seen bestowed upon either Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp, who get told that they're innovative all the time, and actually there's not a single bit of fucking innovation that we've seen from them. But I think what you've seen with De Zerbi and what Chris Wilder has done is arguably way more innovative. Now, like I said, the goal, well, that's not changed. Everybody's trying to do the same thing with that, which is overload certain areas of the pitch. His method of doing so with the centre-halves pushing up into midfield and overlapping, if you will, is a little bit different. But again, it's not entirely unique. It's not entirely brand new, but doing it at a time when no one else was thinking of doing that. I like that, and I got a lot of respect for people that think out the box in that kind of way. Why does he do it? Like I said, numerical advantage, trying to stretch opposition defense, trying to engage different players. If you sit with the ball and you pass it around without movement, movement's the big thing. You sit around and pass the ball without movement. 1, it's easier to do. 2, it's easier to box you in and take the ball off you. Now, if you're marking a midfielder and I'm a centre-half with the ball and I'm playing it around with my centre-half trio and I get the ball and I run directly at you, you're going to make a decision. You are, right? And you're either going to come and tackle me or you're going to stick with your man. You have no other options. That's what you're going to do, okay? If you come with me, you can try and shadow that I can't see the man, but you can't press me and see where he is at the same time because you can only look the one way. So if my man's on the ball, which I would hope he is, even though I'm technically on the ball, he's metaphorically on the ball, he's going to look to go lateral left or right behind you, opening himself up for a pass, allowing us to play through those lines. You can't fuck with that. It's an overload into a certain area. And it's effective. And it's been really effective for Chris Wilder. And I think that's one of the things that was so successful for him last time out, is that he was doing something that people weren't used to, therefore didn't know how to deal with it. Once people learned how to deal with it, it became quite problematic for him. But I still think he's a good coach, and I still think he's going to probably still be quite successful, even if he takes them down this year, because I think they're doomed. I don't think they've got any chance of survival whatsoever. But like I said, having the overlapping centre-half gives defensive support in midfield and allows them to win possession higher up the pitch if they lose it, because they've got more defensive-minded players overloading in certain areas of the pitch. And quite often, having a back three when your opposition's only playing one up front can feel like a little bit of a waste at times anyway. You've got two players effectively doing nothing. And when you talk about the pros and the cons of a 3-5-2 formation, 3-5-2 is an incredibly flexible formation that, you push your wing backs high, you've got a forward four, you pull them back, you've got a back five. You've also got four in midfield or five in midfield. So, it's incredibly versatile for not a lot of movement, providing that your wing backs are fit and can do some doggies, because they're going to be the ones that are asked to do the doggies. If you've got good rotations, and this goes for any formation that you want to call, if you've got good rotations within your formation and a team that's looking for it, then you'll make it work. But yeah, it's got its pros and it's got its cons. One of the pros, a massive pro in my opinion, is the two up front. Most football teams at the moment, you see a forward three. You see a 4-2-3-1, you see a 4-3-3, or even a 3-4-3. But the three is always there. It's always a three. There's always one striker, two wingers, or two wide men, really. I don't know if I'd call them wingers. We almost need a different name for them. Wide forwards. Because not like old school wingers of the past. But when you've got that three playing up all the time, it gets quite easy for two centre-halves to deal with that one striker in the middle. And then one centre-half can go and help double up with the fullback as he's dealing with a winger. And it is what it is. When you put two centre-forwards up against two defenders, if a team playing in a back four defence, that can cause some problems. Now, most teams are going to flip to, let's have one adventurous fullback and one slightly more defensive-minded fullback, and we'll go three against their two. That becomes a problem then if the wing-back on that side steps up, because now you've got to deal with a wing-back, and you no longer have +1 in that back line. So you get overloaded. And that's why the versatility of the formation makes 3-5-2 a very good formation, a very popular formation at the same time as well. It's effective. There's no two ways around it. It is effective. So you got to weigh up the pros and the cons of what you're going to go with. In terms of the cons, three centre-halves can get dragged wide against a tight-knitted forward three. And then there's overloads elsewhere can happen. Wing-backs can get exposed and get doubled up on at times. But the centre-halves getting dragged around is a big one. If the wing-backs aren't in position, then that left or right side centre-half pushes up a little bit, and now you've not got the stability that you thought you had, but it does have a bit more fail-safe than doing that inside a back four. In terms of how they're going to play and their star man, McBurney and Brereton Diaz are going to be a problem, but Brereton Diaz, I think, is the star man for them in this occasion. 4 goals in 9 games since moving there in January. It's given them a little bit of an offensive spark. That's sorely missing. He's a winger or a striker, a little bit of a hybrid. He's got loads of dribbling. He's very dangerous in and around the ball box with the ball at his feet, and I think he's absolutely someone to keep an eye on. As always, this preview is brought to you by our friends at Match UK, and I have another exclusive bet boost that you can't get anywhere else. My picks for this game against Sheffield United, I'm going for Bruno Fernandes to get 1+ assist, and I'm going for Dalot to be shown a card. This bet has been boosted from 9-1 to 11-1, which means if you bang a fiver on it, you'd get 60 in return if it wins. Now, if you'd like to get involved with this, all you got to do is check out the link in the description. Prices are subject to change, and to participate, you've got to be over 18. And as always, United and football are extremely unpredictable, so it's a bit of fun to enhance the enjoyment of the game, and certainly no promise of winning. For more help on responsible gaming, check out begambleaware.org. Once again, it's an exclusive bet to myself and Match UK. If you'd like to get involved, then get involved. Otherwise, let me know your scores and bets in the comments below. Now, in terms of my United 11, I'm going to tell you what I think Ten Hag will do, and then I'm going to tell you why he should not do that. And people are going to sit there and go, the arrogance of a fucking pub league manager to tell you what he should and shouldn't do. And you might be right. However, I'm still going to tell you, and I'm going to give you reasons why. I'm going to justify. I'm not just going to say he should do this and I think that's the best thing to do. I'm going to explain myself. And then you can either agree with me or you can disagree with me. And it doesn't really matter, does it, at the end of the day? Because he's still going to do what the fuck he wants to do. Now, the 11 I think he'll go with, Wan-Bissaka and Delo at fullbacks, Onana in net, obviously. Mainu and McTominay in midfield. Ahmad, Bruno, Garnacho, because I think Rashford is injured, so I think that's going to affect the selection on that front. And Højlund up front. Now, you're going to sit there and you're also going to say to me, Steve, there is literally nobody else. Who else can he possibly pick? Well, I'm going to tell you who else he could possibly pick. And I'm going to give you, I think there's actually 3 options. And I think one of the key decisions is what to do at centre-half in this game. Now, I think he'll play Casemiro and Maguire. And I think he's wrong. There was times against Coventry who were not great at it, and I think Brereton Diaz is better than anything Coventry have got, where it became a foot race. And Maguire and Casemiro lost that foot race. Other people managed to help them out, and it wasn't a cause of any of the goals, but it was still a problem. And if you can identify a problem, why would you go into a game with one very, very obvious weakness? And the other thing on this, the flip side of this game is Manchester United, I expect, will have more control in this game than we've had in a game for a long time. And I would expect Manchester United are going to be rotating through possession. And because it'll be a back 3 with wing backs, or a back 5 with wing backs, and the way that those 2 centre forwards will line up, they will both stand on Casemiro and Maguire. And if they're standing on Casemiro and Maguire, they're marking them, they're pressing them, they're trying to take them out of the game while the other 8 outfield players try and block off what United are doing. United are going to play through our wing backs. Now, on one side with Wan-Bissaka, if he's just keeping it simple, that's not too much of a drama. And Frudelo on the other side, who is quite a good ball-playing fullback, that will be fine. If you're playing through your fullbacks, they're going to narrow in a little bit. Just over the halfway line, into the half space, 10 metres maybe, and they will get involved with helping recycle possession. And I would expect Mainu, hopefully just Mainu, because McTominay, if he's playing, will drift high, and we'll just call it McTominay for now, but then I'll talk to you about some other options after I've explained this point. So you'll have a 2 and a 3, and then you'll have the rest of the team going to attack. Probably McTominay and Bruno sort of looking to underlap into the box in case crosses come in. Maybe you have a bit of a narrowing of the 3. You'd look to get Ahmad on the ball, look to get Bruno on the ball. Maybe you could see some rotations with those, but either way, Højlund's going to be leading the line, and then Garnacho will be right on the opposite touchline trying to provide some width. Now, because you're going to be looking to play through Delo and Mainu, and probably Wan-Bissaka to give you a little bit of balance on that side, you're leaving Casemiro and Maguire 1v1. And I think that is a massive, massive drama. Now, the very easy thing to do here is to go, okay, we do a 3 and a 2. Wan-Bissaka moves onto the halfway line alongside Casemiro and Maguire. He's now in the back line, so if you do get broke on, he has the recovery pace to get across and no nonsense, ball on all tackles and just fucking stop any dramas like that. It leaves you +1 in the back line, and it eliminates the problem of quick players going up against Casemiro and Maguire 2v2. That is near suicidal. Like, I could see them getting a result if that's what we decide to do. The other options that you've got, because I believe there's 3 options realistically at centre half. One would be to move Casemiro into midfield and put McTominay in the back line, but I think that's very unlikely because he really sees McTominay as an offensive player that's able to go and get goals. So I'm going to eliminate that almost as quickly as I've said it, because I just don't think he sees him as that defensive-minded player, even though he's probably played, certainly first-team football, in the back line more than he has in the forward line. The third option that you've got, and again, I think this is extremely unlikely, is that you bring Amas in and you move Wan-Bissaka to actual centre-half to go 1v1 and treat it, especially if he's going to go up against Diaz, who is a winger kind of hybrid. Have him play 1v1 against him. He can play that game. And then you can play through the likes of Hamas, and you can bring McTominay, so you can bring Casemiro into midfield and maybe try and play through him in that sense. Or you can bring Bruno back. Have Bruno and Mainu as the players that you can play through, bring Christian Eriksen in and have a little bit more control and maybe a little bit more on the ball. Rather, like, just do something fucking different. Just do something fucking different, because we know exactly how... Look, go and watch some of the transitions in the game against Coventry and just see how fast we've gone from being in an attacking, offensive position to fucking watch it completely crumble when someone in the forward line loses the ball, we don't react well, and we get broke on and we concede goals and chances galore. If Sheffield United get something just a bit fluky, a bit lucky, because there was a lot of luck involved in what Coventry did on Sunday, but if they get something a bit fluky, a bit lucky, and it's 1-0, Old Trafford will turn like that. It'll be fucking horrible. And if it gets horrible, it's going to feed into the players. And if it feeds into the players, you can find yourself losing or coming away with a draw here very easily. As easy as you should be coming away with like a 2-0 win because Sheffield United are shite. You can easily see that happen. But that's how I see it going. I'm very excited to see Ahmad. I think he's absolutely deserved to play. There's one more potential thing that we could see here, and I'm worried for it. Because I think that there's a massive blind spot that Ten Hag has got here, and that is Antony. This is the game where Ahmad should be an absolute shoo-in to start. Rashford's injured. Move Garnacho back over to the left. Play Ahmad. You could even make a case to play Ahmad and put Bruno alongside Mainu in midfield. Keep Casemiro in defence and bring Wan-Bissaka to the sort of back line and go 3-2. He's going to play Antony, isn't he? He has a massive blind spot for Antony. I mean, Antony dropped a 0 out of 10 performance. No, I don't think anybody really outside of Onana and Mainu did anything more than a 3 or a 4. But Antony did nothing. And I think Antony's going to end up getting Ten Hag the sack, whether it's the cost of him, the performances of him, or the faith that he puts in him. I think it's a mistake. Because I think we all saw as soon as Ahmad came on, the difference in like, what the fuck is Antony doing? Decision making of a fucking cat versus Ahmad. What a player. Like, intelligent, great first touch, knows the right time and place to do stuff. He should play Ahmad, but he will play Antony, won't he? I could even make a case that you throw Wan-Bissaka centre half and you put Antony left back, because I think he'd be all right there. But he's going to play him right wing, innit, instead of Ahmad. How do we beat him? Don't get done 1v1 on the halfway line. Should we start that there? Clip me up tomorrow, tag me when this happens. Secondly, got to be worried of set pieces. Sheffield United are very good at set plays. It's a big equaliser in the game. They are very strong there. Don't be giving away stupid fucking fouls in our third. Limit the shots, limit the corners, limit the shots. Can we just limit the shots full stop? How about that? Got to compete on second balls, because we're just not doing that. And there is some real quality still in this United side. Can we actually fucking show it? Because the quality is superior. But we're not playing like it. We are playing under the power of what this team should be able to put out, even with the injuries. Even the injury-ravaged Manchester United are still better than the product that we are getting. So be better, please. Anyway, take it easy. Let us know your score predictions, your thoughts, and all the rest of that. If you want to get involved with the Paramatch Bet, link for that is in the description. Shout out to them guys for sponsoring us all season. But let me know your thoughts on the 11. Quite a lot of options there, wasn't there? And I want to know what you think about that in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.